Hey everyone, welcome to a very special celebrity chef right up here at Kayhi Culinary Arts. Thanks for having us.
Oh, glad to be here.
And we have lots of friends with us today because they are from the Open World program in Russia visiting Ketchikan, and today you're going to teach them a little bit about culinary arts, right?
Right.
And what you guys do with the students as well as a quick breakfast meal.
That is correct.
All right, tell us what's going on.
Well, we're going to make Polish kielbasa breakfast wraps. Well, they're going to have egg and potato and onion kielbasa wrapped up in a flour tortilla with some cheese. So, and then if you're very brave, this is a buffalo sauce, nice and spicy.
So tell them why, I'm curious, as well as folks at home, when you're teaching the kids, you kind of keep it a little simple, right?
Correct.
And what's the goal?
The goal is that they'll understand me. and you know, the idea is you want people to actually do it. It's not, who wants to just watch something you can't do?
Exactly.
So we tried to break it down enough so that you can do it, including how to handle the knife, how to be careful so that you don't cut yourself. I have this is my 14th year. I've only nicked myself one time because I do what I teach.
Well, you taught me too.
Yes.
I do the knife right now.
And it's important because, you know, on this side, the back of the blade, no pain at all, no blood. But you turn it over and you tap it, and it's going to hurt, and you're going to have a cut. So you want to keep this edge from your hand. Mm-hmm. Several ways you can do that. When you handle the product, what I did, and I've already cut and baked the potatoes so they're ready to go. But when you do
the magic
these,
of TV.
Yeah, the magic of TV. We're going to take this. You notice how I bend my fingers? That's so that when I bring the knife down, I do not cut myself. And so I'm making these cuts, and then you can see on the inside of the potato, we don't want that, right? And we don't want that there, and that. And then we're going to take these potatoes and do the same thing. I'm going to make slices.
Can you go bigger?
You can go bigger. The reason we're doing this size, it's easier to eat in a burrito if the potatoes are smaller.
Okay.
And that way you get more, and then you just make cubes out of them, like so. And I already have some cut up, so I'm not going to cut some more. But you notice that I don't come in contact with the blade with my hand. I am a guitarist. I play guitar, and cutting fingers is a bad idea.
Now you've been to Russia too.
I have been.
Speaking of guitars.
I was in Khabarovsk in 1999. I pastor a church. I'm a pastor also, and I went to teach at a conference, a Bible school over there. In fact, I was telling Miss O'Brien that there was a story I told in a English and Russian speaking church, and I was telling the story. I'll tell you the story, okay? My wife and I have been married a long time, and I was in our bedroom, and I went in the closet, and I saw this box, like a shoe box, like the shoes come in, and I thought, why does she have a box? Because it says personal, and which means I'm supposed to stay out. But I couldn't help it. I opened the box. Inside the box was a roll of money, and then 3 eggs. 3 eggs, okay? So I'm thinking, I understand saving money, but eggs, why are eggs in the closet? So I said, okay. And then I heard her, and I thought, I put it back, and I sat on the bed, and she came in, and she looked at me, and I must have looked guilty because she said, "You've been in my box." I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Will you forgive me?" She said, "Yes, but you need to respect my personal." And I said, "Okay, but can you tell me about the box? I understand the money, but what about the eggs?" And she said, "Well, you have been preaching a long time, and every time you preach a bad one, I call it lay an egg, and I put an egg in the box." And I thought, 15 years, 3 eggs, real good. I said, "So what's with the money?" She said, "Every time I get a dozen, I sell them." So when I told the story, I had an interpreter for the part of the congregation that didn't speak English, and he began to laugh and forgot to translate the end of the story. And the English-speaking part began to laugh, and the other part is going, "What is so funny?" Then he remembered, and he translated. The one side quieted down, and the other side started laughing. So it was pretty funny. It was a good group. I had a great experience. Khabarovsk was a great town, and had a good time. It was fun being squeezed on the buses, being traveled around town and all of that. And we had a driver who was ex-military, his name was Oleg, and only way he knew how to drive was to push the accelerator completely to the floor. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to close my eyes and not look. And we never had an accident, so it was something. So that's what we would do with the potatoes. I'm going to set these aside. But what we do need, we have two items that I haven't prepared yet. One is the kielbasa, and the other is the onion, okay? So to do the onion, there are many ways to cut it up. For what we're going to do, I'm going to do very similar to what I did with those potatoes. I'm going to make my strips, just like that. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make this into a diced so that it cooks down pretty good when I cook with the...
So quick question for you. If
Yes.
someone doesn't want to have meat in their burrito, what would you recommend substituting?
Well, you can put peppers and mushrooms, and you could put broccoli and spinach. You can put anything you want in your... Are there vegetarian?
There are.
Okay, so what we will do is cook the meat separate. Okay, is that all right? Okay, so we can do that. That's the beauty of making your own. I'm going to show you how to roll them and to put everything in and wrap them up, and then you're going to do it for the one you're going to eat. Okay?
Perfect. So you guys, let's share with our visitors. You don't just stand here and teach the kids how to cook. You guys cook for some pretty major events around town too.
We do. We do a lot of fundraising, especially with nonprofits. Like the Cancer Society, we do some, and we help a lot with activities. We have the Maritime Academy, which is tomorrow. There's 275 people participating, and we're preparing pizza and chips and cookies and all that for that. And then Wednesday is College Fair, and related to that, could you guys get me another bowl so I can keep the meat separate? Related to that, we're having a buffet, and the buffet is going to have a ling cod, and it's going to have pulled pork and garlic butter rice.
Oh, very cool.
And green beans, Caesar salad, a lot of dessert, and bread with butter.
Maybe we should eat here tomorrow.
Maybe we should eat here tomorrow. So to this, you want to put it in manageable sizes, and then what we'll do, that's a nice big one. That should be big enough.
You think? I don't know.
So in here,
Here, let's get these out of the way.
yeah. So I'm going to just, since we have some vegetarians, I'm only going to cook one pack of the kielbasa.
Okay. So one of the reasons also, so that our friends know, many of the kids in Kayhi, in the community, they're involved in sports and activities like, so a sport, volleyball, football, basketball, but also things like debate, where they can't, in the lower 48, if they have a match or a game against another school, if we were in the lower 48, the kids would get on the bus, drive down the road, play the other team, and then come home. Not so for our kids here in Ketchikan and in Alaska. They have to get on a ferry and travel for many hours or fly on a plane, and usually they're gone for 3 or 4 days. So what Mr. Edwards and his culinary kids do is they help out because there's an enormous amount of money involved to get the kids to where they need to travel to, right? And so he does a number of fundraising. I don't know how many, like you lost count, didn't you? Prime rib dinners.
If I think about it, it makes me tired.
Okay, so that's also what he does, cooking for hundreds and hundreds of people. In addition, at Christmas time, we have about 15 different schools that come to Ketchikan for a tournament right after Christmas, and they'll be here for 3 to 4 days. And this whole high school is full of hundreds of people, plus all of our community as well. And they do a lot of cooking for that too, right?
That's correct. Right. So, our vegetarians, do you eat egg?
Yes.
Okay.
Yay!
Good. Yes. Okay. I just want to make sure we have something to put in the burrito. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come around here. We're going to give him a moment to turn the camera off and join us. And over here I have a griddle that's already hot. We're going to do, for extra flavor, instead of olive oil, I'm going to use coconut oil.
Oh,
and it will
nice.
add a different flavor to it, okay?
I was wondering what that was. Of course, you know me, my first thought was that's lard.
Yes. But that lard is not good for vegetarians. So what we have here, this is called a griddle. and I have it's set at 300 degrees, and I just put the coconut oil in. We're going to cook the onions, then we're going to cook some of the eggs, and then we'll mix the eggs and the onion to get. Is there anybody not like onion? Okay, cooked onions are a little easier. Some people have a hard time with raw onion because of the acid. There's one. Okay, so we're going to put these on here, and we're going to let them start their cooking process. So while these are cooking, hand me the eggs, please.
Oh, sorry, I was busy hugging.
I see that. Now we're going to just crack some eggs. See, there's 2, 4.
You should never try it with one hand.
You want to try?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're on the camera side though.
Oh.
Very good. Who? Come on, guys. Let's go. Here we go. Come on, do your egg. So to do it with one hand, you just grab it. Oh, except sometimes you get some shell, just like that. You don't want that. It makes the egg really crunchy.
Ребята, дайте
Go ahead.
салфетку кто-нибудь.
Anybody else?
Ага, спасибо.
There we go. And just put them right back in here. I'd love to have one of these at home.
Pancakes.
You can just make anything. So on those fundraising that you was talking about, the wrestling team in the first week of November is doing a dinner, and we're going to, with these tortillas that we have here, we're going to make a garlic butter rice. We're going to put the rice in, then barbecue pork and a little bit of cheese, and roll them up, and then we're going to wrap them in plastic and put them in the warmer, and they're going to sell 500 of them. So they're very happy that we're going to do this for them, so that they don't have to do it at the event. And last year they did pulled pork sandwiches, and they were putting the sandwiches together, and this will be so much faster for them. Okay. Any questions? So, are you going to go home and tell my story about the shoebox?
Of course.
Also, some children believe in the remote regions. We have a lot of regions that are quite remote.
Uh-huh.
So it might be very nice. And they also have to travel, take sometimes some children live in the villages where like only one helicopter per week
Oh, wow.
can connect them with the other part of the world. And
What-
that could be.
Oh, it'd be fun. They would laugh. When I was there, I met 2 young ladies. One taught English in high school, and one taught English in the university. And so when I told them that story, they said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, that's called being politically correct. A person is not fat, they are nutritionally enhanced. And they are not short, they are vertically challenged." And anyway, when I got back to the U.S., one named Natasha, she emailed me. She said, "To my politically correct pastor, please send more," because she was using them in her English class. So, and then she was able to come for a vacation to the United States, and we were able to have her in our home. It was very fun. You can see the caramelization taking place. Some people cheat by adding a little sugar, but if you just give it time, they'll all turn caramelized. And here I'm going to leave them like this because I still want a little bit of crunch. Not a lot, but a little bit of crunch.
But what happens if you add more sugar?
What's that?
What happens if you add
They turn brown faster and they're a little sweeter. So I'm going to get a bowl here that I can put those onions in, since I don't want to get it in there with the meat.
А какое масло он использовал? Он говорит? Кокосовое?
I'm going to put some more of the coconut oil down. Not a lot more because there's still oil down there. And I'll save the last of it when I cook the meat. Have you cooked with avocado oil? They actually extract oil from the avocado seed, and it makes a great oil to cook with too. It's also another high temperature, but you have now a little bit of a nutty flavor that goes
I
in.
have never tried with avocado.
Oh,
oil, but
I
it
don't
might
have
be-
any, or I
yeah,
would have
yeah,
tried it.
yeah.
It's more difficult to find. Olive oil, very popular. Vegetable oil, popular. Coconut oil becoming very popular, and like canola oil, very popular. But olive oil is new, and not as. So we're going to take these now, and I'm going to lay these down. And you see we got a little bit of eggshell in our Kraken, so we're just going to move that out of the way. Okay? We'll just put that over here in the corner.
So
Then
I'm curious to know what type of oil do you guys use in Russia in your cooking?
Well, I do use olive oil when I cook and sunflower oil.
Sunflower. So we're just going to put a little pepper. Now, another way you can do this, you can scramble the eggs and cook them that way, but I like the texture better if you do it this way. I'm going to come by, I'm going to crack those. So you have some of the texture of the white and the yolk, both. We'll stay away from those eggshells.
What do you think the big difference between brown eggs and white eggs, if there even is a difference?
There's not a major difference. Brown eggs tend to be a little stronger, a little more pronounced, but not enough that you go, oh, too strong. Unless you're like my wife. If it's not white eggs, you don't want anything to do with it. And it's a psychological thing. And please, I hope she doesn't watch this. Okay, now, when I cook this, I do not want to overcook it or it gets rubbery and hard. So I'm going to give me a half sheet pan. And I'm going to pull this. Half, yeah, just the one off the bottom. We're just going to put this in here like this.
Mr. Edwards, how many of the kids that have graduated from your culinary arts program have gone on to actually run a restaurant or work in the restaurant business?
That's hard, but I will tell you, I don't know of any restaurant, except maybe the Chinese restaurants, that don't have former students working in them. Like Ocean View, Cape Fox, Annabelle's, Bar Harbor. One of the lead cooks at Bar Harbor is a former student and a Culinary Institute of America graduate. And one of the graduates is the lead cook on one of the ferries. Tyler Green is his name. Great young man. And so quite a few, but what they do learn is about working. Even if they don't go into the business, business work ethic is important no matter what job you do, to be on time, to be on task, to get the education, get the experience and all those things. Okay, we're gonna cook the meat now. It is interesting, Alaska is behind the lower 48 when it comes to education and trends and all those kind of things, even clothes and all that kind of stuff. We tend to be a little behind, and there's a continual call in the lower 48 for more and more vocational training, because number one, we're finding that there's not enough people prepared to actually work with their hands. A lot of people, and some of those jobs pay actually better than some of the other ones do, like such as tomorrow our kids are going to the shipyard to learn about welding and construction and all that kind of stuff. And so they we need people to work those jobs, and not everybody wants to go to college. Not everybody wants to be an engineer or a doctor or a nurse or anything like that. And so it gives those people an alternative to find out why they're taking math and why they're taking language and why they're studying history and all those kind of things. Because sometimes I remember my own children saying, I will never, ever, ever use this math my whole life. And I just laugh at them, because they all work in the financial industry now. They use math all the time. And but it's fun to get their eyes to light up and realize those numbers in math represent things, or money, or parts if you're constructing something. So, am I being an advocate for school?
You
what
are.
a deal.
Shocker.
Make sure our superintendent sees this, okay?
Do you have some children who come and say, "Oh, I have a recipe. Can we cook this today?"
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, last Tuesday, which I left halfway through the day to go to a conference in Seattle, one of the students said, "Mr. Edwards, I'm trying to make a cake for my mother, and I tried the buttercream frosting and it was terrible." I said, "Well, should we make some in class?" And she said, "Yes." And so we made it, and then I sent it home with her to put on our mother's cake because mamas are important, right?
Yeah.
And so she was very, very happy. And so we do that. And I had a student ask me this morning, their parent just went hunting and they got a moose, and they said, can we bring some moose and you show us how to make different dishes with moose meat? And I said, absolutely. And so we do that lots because we're not always doing events. Sometimes we just have fun.
True.
Okay, so you can see these are cooked. The fancy term is we're rendering the fat out of them. It's cooking out. So these, if we put these on a paper towel, when I put them back into the bowl, I need another half sheet pan. If I put them on paper towel, it will remove some of the grease and cause them to have less fat in them. Anybody hungry? Oh, I have students who are always hungry. So, you have the choice of choosing what you want in your burritos. I know he likes everything. So I'm gonna put some potatoes, okay? And then I'm gonna put him some meat. And then some onion. And then some egg. And then some cheese. And since he's kind of a spicy guy, we're gonna take some of this sauce.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so then I'm gonna fold this in like this. And then you're gonna roll it up just like that. Very nice, not very easy, right?
Who here thinks that they can make a pretty as wrap as that? All the students are saying yes. We could have a little
Should you
competition
see how
here.
they appointed you to go first?
Go ahead.
So this is available if you want it.
Oh, she's not going to go down the line. She's
She's
going
gonna do it any way she wants to.
Perfect. So tell us about some other the most interesting breakfast wraps that you've ever made. I mean, this is kind of standard, but what are some highly unusual things that you could put in the wrap?
Well, we have a number of Filipino students, and they like it if I use fried rice in the meat and roll it up with egg. Look at there, expert. So let me just show you real quick. Let me show you something on this. So if you do this and you just roll it a little bit tighter. Look at there. Beautiful. Good
Wonderful.
job.
Does she need a plate?
Yeah,
Good job. Yay.
Here's a plate, and then you may eat. All right, who's next?
Who's
Let's
next?
go. You can.
Don't be shy.
Come on, don't be shy.
So tell me a little bit about your job in Russia.
I work in Greenpeace Russia. I'm head of research program in Greenpeace Russia, and I deal with some environmental issues, and I use high technology like satellite images, geoinformation system to check our planet and find something environmental violences, and after that try to solve this problem. And in our organization, sometimes it's the basis of our campaign.
Mm-hmm. And so what is the biggest problem facing Russia right now in the environment?
They have a lot of problems, but mostly I deal with energy problem, with oil industry, with toxic pollution, with forest cutting, with I don't know.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Wow. That's a big job. Okay, moving down the line.
Yeah. Well, I work with together with Vasily, so I'm his colleague, but I work with indigenous communities of the north who face environmental changes, who face climate change, and who have to adopt their life because they are reindeer herders and they need a lot of land to continue to practice their traditional way of life. And there are some oil and gas companies who work in the same region, and there is a problem of pollution. So we try to help the people who live there and to try to solve the problem of oil spills. Fortunately, Russia is number one in oil spills.
So you're going to enjoy the lunchtime presentation today by CPRO, and that's our local organization that works with oil spills around the state. Okay, moving down.
Yeah. I'm working at protected area, and our main goal to protect landscapes and rare species. And very rare species in our territory, it's snow leopards.
Really?
Yeah, and we have also some programs with local population for saving these rare species.
Fantastic. Very interesting. I missed one person, but her mouth is full. And just for the kids' sake, we do have one non-English speaker here, so I'll do my best to tell everyone what her job is. And she also works in an area in a national park that is primarily responsible for making sure that snow leopards are protected as well. And so it's very, very interesting. And and she also told me, I said, well, how does hiking in Ketchikan sound? What would be very, very hard hiking? So for you kids, hiking up Deer Mountain might be really hard, right? What she told me, whatever. I normally hike through snow up to here for many, many miles. So our hiking around here in Ketchikan is not that hard for her. Did I do well?
Ну да, когда мы идем на учет по следам, у нас снег иногда достигает вот до этой отметки.
Okay, I'm going to assume that was a yes. Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, Doug, thanks for doing this. Really
welcome.
Appreciate it.
I actually made you one as well.
Oh, fantastic. And are they good? Yes. Okay, and kids, did you learn something today? Okay, well, we'll have a little bit of time after this where you can come over and ask any questions that you want, because this is a huge honor that Ketchikan has this Russian delegation right here in our community. Not many communities get to have this excitement, right? And you, thanks for having us. We were trying to figure it out, what, the 26th time or something that we filmed a show? I don't know, I've lost count.
Yeah, it's been quite a few, and we're not done.
We're not done. Anyway, thanks for having us, and thanks for watching, and look for another episode of Celebrity Chef in the near future.